Thank you for tuning into one of our Week 2 quick hitters on the Football Guys YouTube page. Be sure to subscribe right now so you can catch these videos coming at you almost every single day through the 2021 season. The question I want to talk about today is a very hot topic, and that is Deebo Samuel, the 49ers wide receiver one? Now, much ado has been made about Brandon Aiyuk's 0 that he posted week 1 against the Lions. He was expected to have a huge breakout after he saw some really good production down the stretch in his rookie year. And while his supporters noted that progression throughout his rookie season, his doubters were very quick to point to injuries as Deebo Samuel and George Kittle being the reason for that breakout. With Aiyuk being a ghost on the field week 1, Deebo Samuel was able to amass 189 receiving yards while hauling in 9 of his team-high 12 targets. Let's look at last year and see how these guys were able to coexist. Deebo Samuel and Brandon Aiyuk played 5 games together, and in those 5 games, Deebo had 22 receptions for 258 yards and 1 touchdown. Brandon Aiyuk had 18 receptions for 284 yards and 1 touchdown. So while Deebo saw a little bit more volume, Brandon Aiyuk was a bit more efficient with his getting more yards, but they were each able only to find pay dirt just once. Now, this whole week was kind of weird for the 49ers. We saw Raheem Mostert go down, and after he did, Kyle Shanahan made that head-scratching move of putting in Elijah Mitchell over Trey Sermon. And then on top of that, we also saw Trent Sherfield getting snaps over Brandon Aiyuk. Now, there are these weird cryptic reports that came out of San Francisco saying that Aiyuk needed to learn how to be a pro, but that was quickly laid to rest when Kyle Shanahan just blamed the lack of usage on a hamstring injury that has really been lingering all offseason for Brandon Aiyuk. So expect him to come back and be a part of this offense once again. But the question remains, is Deebo the wide receiver one, or will Aiyuk bounce back next week and take over that role? I think that's a really tough question, and I don't know if there is a black and white answer here. I really like Brandon Aiyuk's talent, and while I think that Deebo Samuel will be the wide receiver one on this team, both are going to be able to produce in fantasy, but they give each other a very dangerous weekly floor. We got to remember this is a run-first team with George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, and Brandon Aiyuk. So, and in the same way that we saw Brandon Aiyuk post a 0 in week 1, well, that could have been due to injury or whatever. That is really the floor for any of these receivers on any given week. Deebo Samuel's 2020 season was plagued by injury, but let's look back at his 2019 breakout rookie season just to remember how good this guy is. Over the second half of that year, he averaged 87.2 yards per game with a touchdown in every 2 games that he played, and that was with a healthy George Kittle. So there is volume here, and there is value to be found in these pass catchers, but I don't know if any of them are going to give you a high weekly floor. So I don't know if this is really a clear-cut wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 situation. I think that while Deebo Samuel will lead the team in targets and receptions, this is more wide receiver 1A and wide receiver 1B situation. Well, you still have George Kittle fighting for his targets as well. I really like Deebo Samuel for the rest of the season, but I think that there is a good opportunity to sell high on him right now before Brandon Aiyuk returns. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube page so you can see these coming at you every single week. Be sure to check out yesterday's video with the waiver wire report where Sigmund Bloom goes through all of this week's hottest waiver wire pickups, and tune in later this week for Thursday Night Football and Monday Night Football previews. Thanks a lot for tuning in.